Hello, my name is Jared Welsh, and this is my video presentation on my research paper, Hyperpersonal Computer Mediated Communication, or CMC for short. Now, all of us use CMC to take this class, Computer Mediated Communication, through our message boards. We use it a lot of times through Instant Messenger, Facebook chat, Twitter, things of that nature. What makes it hyper-personal is whenever we take the time to formulate messages so that we're putting our absolute best foot forward. The timing of hyperpersonal CMC is one of the key things to this particular model, because we are spending time to edit and really formulate the most perfect message we can think of to send to another person. Now, for the receiver, we know that the exchange is going to take some time for us to type out our message, whether it's text message on our smartphone or sitting on a computer and typing out over some sort of messaging program or even through email. So during that downtime in between message exchanges, the sender also goes into almost a daydream scenario where they're picturing what the other person is saying. And we also, as that receiver, spend time thinking about what our next response is going to be in that exchange and start to formulate that message. Now, not every message sent through CMC is hyperpersonal, but a lot of messages are, especially when people initiate conversation online. People want to make themselves feel socially desirable in these brand new exchanges with people. Now, these exchanges can just take place online, but there are some programs out there that force us to eventually meet in person. So dating websites like eHarmony, for example, starts that CMC messaging through that profile that you set up. Now again, there's a picture, there's more information on there, but as people start to chat, they're going to want to put their best foot forward to try to secure the opportunity to meet that person. However, a lot of times through these CMC relationships, more often than not, that initial meeting is actually kind of a letdown. Part of that is because of the messages that have been sent weren't exactly truthful, and second, the receivers of the message have time to really kind of put these pictures together, and as we get information, more often than not, we inadvertently start building a picture of someone we actually know that resembles a lot of the traits that we are receiving through these hyperpersonal messages. There's also some online forums like Second Life, which is an online city with buildings and parks, and people can build avatars and walk around and talk to other people. These avatars are built to look like people. They're supposed to, in theory, look just like the person that they are representing. However, like all other hyperpersonal CMC messages, these avatars can tend to not look like the person that has created them. A lot of people are very self-aware of what they want to be and how they feel they're viewed by people, and so they will manipulate their avatar and manipulate their messages to try to be as desirable as possible in their exchanges. And the same thing happens to the receiver. When these messages come in, they take the time to formulate the response that would also be just as desirable as the message that they just received. And so a lot of these exchanges are just perfect exchanges because of people taking time to edit the message and put their best foot forward. Now, a lot of research in hyperpersonal CMC has been conducted on the senders and receivers. Where the research has been lacking over the stretch of the life of this theory has been in the feedback. So looking at these exchanges as they start to develop. Now, some research has also been put into what the differences are between face-to-face communication and CMC messaging. And it's actually been found that people feel a closer bond with the participant in face-to-face exchanges, even though they are more difficult to keep going. a lot of online CMC messaging tends to just flow very naturally because people let their guard down a little bit and they're more open to talk about other things. But you don't build that connection because you don't see another person. Now, for some people, that is what is so helpful about the online CMC, is because they're not being seen. Social anxiety is dropped down. They don't have fear of what people think of them or being judged just by their appearance. Also run into the fact that there are people that just have problems speaking to each other, so they feel much better being behind the keyboard without all the environmental cues around them. So in CMC messaging, we lose the facial expressions, we lose nonverbal cues, we lose environmental distractions that normally take place in face-to-face communication. But with the adaptations of emoticons, now senders and senders can put these emoticons into their message to try to give some form of nonverbal cue inside their message and try to get each other, sender and receiver, on the same page for that communication. Online CMC has also been used for support groups, especially in the Second Life program, where people will get together in a certain place and have a social group. And they're more open to talking that way because avatars are talking to each other. They feel like they're in a normal face-to-face communication. But what research has found is that in these types of exchanges, that people are actually more attracted to the group than the people themselves, where that would be different in face-to-face communication. I feel the groups that social groups I attend, I keep going back because of the people that are in those groups and the relationships I have with those people, more so than the group itself. Now, a lot of research still has yet to be done in hyperpersonal CMC, and we're going to see it's a continuing research process because more and more applications and websites are coming out that facilitate CMC, and in every single one of these, people are going to be hyperpersonal in their exchanges. Different websites have kept popping up, and that's where the desirability feature comes in, because people browse these websites online. So take, for example, Facebook, we have our profile pictures. Twitter, we have profile pictures. And everybody is going to be just as hyper-personal in picking that photograph as they are in the messages that they send in their communications. If we get to choose a picture, we're going to choose the absolute best picture we can find of ourselves. Now, whether that is some kind of great athletic achievement or a beautiful beach somewhere, or some people taking 15 selfies of themselves to try to get the absolute perfect angle or picture of themselves to post to that online world. But one of the things that we should remember as Christians using CMC communication is we are always going to be hyper-personal, because human nature is to try to represent ourselves the best way we possibly can. And I think that as long as we remember to not lie and be honest about who we are, that's how we as Christians can navigate CMC safely. As Peter reminds us in chapter 9, that the truth is always going to come out. And so that happens when we eventually end up meeting people that we have initiated CMC messages with. And of course, we do not want someone to show up in that situation and say, you are not who you say you were. So that's my presentation on hyperpersonal CMC. Thanks for watching.